Kenmore is about 110 kilometres west of Stewart Highway towards Musgrave Ranges, and it's about 30 kilometres east of Ernabella, which is on the end of Musgrave Ranges. And one thing good about is Kenmore is owned by a Fraser family. The cattle station is owned by the Fraser family, and we're really enjoying it. What we do out here, because we're independent. It's towards the self-determination, and that's what I love. That building over there, that's the kitchen and the stockman quarter, and the cook stays there. But on the other side, there's few rooms for all the stockmans, and also next to that is the boar and other equipment shed, and the other one was always garage, and the old straw house homestead, made out of mulga to support the hay, and they plaster about normal hay size, but it was flat plaster on both sides, and that was the house. And it was different world altogether, different environment, just from riding around chasing sheep and donkeys and this and that. It was a real job when I got here first time. We heard a story about the freehold. That's why I thought, well, the freehold, we can own it and we can do what we like with the country and the business and everything else. And that's how we did it. We had to drop everything here, then run over there, even in the middle of the stockwork, because we really wanted to see what'll happen with the land right. I'd like to thank all of you and all the people who passed on, because they were the key people, and we started together and we struggled all the way. I thank God and the government for joining us for our strongest land right in Australia. We were helping them on the land right at Edge Rock. It started in the 70s. That was a long time before our land rights started. The government should have listened carefully, but they don't want to, and I said, okay, hey, come here. This is how we want to do it. We want to own it in your law, so that we can then share it with you, which we are sharing it with Australia, Park Australia and the government, as well as everybody. We moved over here from working on sheep to cattle. Wow, that was really different style, because we've been watching in the 50s, around about late 50s and 60s, early 60s, we were watching cowboy films, and we wanted to be cowboy too. That's why we started riding horses when we were little, barebacked, without a saddle. And we've learned to break in horses that way, just run them up the hill and ride them down. And that's why we were very interested on the cattle. Not long ago we had a 9-year drought, which wasn't bad as 1950s and 60s, but it was enough to bring the water table down in the wells and bores, and also it forced people to truck away many cattle to get rid of them because of no food. I had saved a lot of grass for my cattle, but I had to truck away, sell a lot of cattle too, to keep the numbers down. After a while we was going to sell it and just forget about the cattle because of the drought, but it rained. Luckily it rained around about December. That's how we started again. This is the fourth time we started again.
What do they taste like? Are they all right?
Yep. That's where we get, that shed's where we get shovels to plant more and clean it up.
Do you work on this too?
Yep. And we go to that bigger garden, big one where we made it our own for the communities.
Every time when the worker comes out, you always check the water, make sure the water's clean. At the moment it's got a lot of sludge on the wall of the trough and also a dirty thing from that. When they eat they come with a little bit of grass, and that's why they leave the grass and other green stuff here. You've got to really look after the water for the cattle and also check make sure if it's leaking like this all the time, they'll have feathers like this one from the bird drowning in the tank, and this is a feather from white cockatoo or galah, and also you feel it here. Make sure there's no bones or things, because it should shut like this instead of dripping all the time. This is the one that sits like this on the tank, and the water, when the water comes up, they push the float up and that'll stop the water coming out and control the box to shut them off. So everything's controlled. I don't have to be here to watch the water overflowing. When the tank's full, it'll just stop the pump working until it works by when the tank gets low, then the water starts pumping, and it's all controlled by the pump equipment there. And if there's a fence or yard on that side or a crowd of people, it'll only go one way and turn into the crowd or a fence or something, and it'll run into it. Always got to do it both sides. If this side is really, soft and turning really quickly, then you've got to do it the other side to do it again. And for little boys and girls to turn it, otherwise it'll be bolting wherever the horse want to go. That's what the horse will do all the time, unless you do it like this.
Tell him like that, Benny. Tell him, wait till I get on you, son. Come on.
I know what you know. It's not riding every horse. No. We don't kill him.
You'll be riding yourself. The worst one, he'll jump on, settlement, and you can have it back. There's few little rough riders here from Kenmore. They'll be doing their own. But if it's the worst one, he'll look after him. Huh? We're mustering Narada, then we're taking them more north to the border. Droving.
That's how we want to finish the program off.
And you get paid. I want to treat the tourists and other people like that so that they can come and enjoy the horses, or if they don't ride horses, the tourists and the young people can ride around quad bike mustering a real animal, which is cows. Lois will control it?
Yes.
Because she's the boss.
James, we haven't got a radio. We're going to find you a radio.
Well, I know, and get a little battery too. He's always careful, this boy. He look after his machine, and others will jump on and try to wreck him, but he'll get it off him, look after him. That's his baby. And others have wrecked theirs, motorbikes, flat tire, and other bull catcher, got no brakes, so they've got to be more like him. And he's trying to be a head stockman when he grow up. His mother is a manager for the cattle here, Kenmore Park, and he's managing the company called Musgrave Pasture Company. soon as the other cattle get closer and closer, we're going to put it all together. Then keep on going to number 3, and if we get there a little bit early, we'll have to move on to number 3. It would be great if we can go through to Eagle Rock so that we don't have to drive again tomorrow, because the helicopter is very costly.
Kalau wet ra kayak nerval. Oh, you will bago ya.
Anak pulong sama number 3 kalau. Ada ni.
Kaya ya itu juga orang kekari yang kah pakurin ko bay. Kangen nang manjil bay yang meledang bay manjil bay itu juga ko ya. Cun ko bay muru kangka. Kangen lekati bay. Kaya ngunci juga anku bay itu juga muru kangka udah juga yang kaya anku bay tangura ko dulu jana wir kan ko bay ngurang kaping. Kaya ada awan lawan aja ko bay. Jana yang nguncung kaya cungorang ko bay. Wang ay lini lo janya. No el tono ko ondal ba. Sama string nya pun becara nya ngana na. Pukul bare ring ko ba family no la. Pukul lara bakal pa cici kol kol mun la an ko ba. Chung mun la polo ka joda. Orang ka kari ba. Ora ini number 3 ko coba ngana nakari bagian mo ko. Mastering ka malang ka ngana na cicinnya dara joda nindel by branding mo no kujo beda polo kang kajon ko jak. Iya mak. Ini tag.
Today's plan is to move the cattle. They've already started heading towards the fence, and we'll be driving the cattle along the fence to nearly to Eagle Rock. We pull the fence down, lay it down, and we'll walk it across to Eagle Rock, yard them up, then have a little spell, then start drafting mainly the bulls and the big heifers that are clean skin, and brand them first, then all the little ones maybe starting first thing in the morning. When we do what they used to call a killer years ago, we all knew what the killer was mean. So it was a meat. When they go out and shoot young heifer, for the month or two so that they can have a feed and also feed the stockmen in a stock camp. And also they sold them up. And before we didn't know anything about what they call quick cure now, and they put a little bit of that on salt meat to make the steak nice and red and tasty. We never used to have that one. It was just salt, plain salt, and without a refrigerator, the salt meat will last for a long time.
We'll go in the gate.
And come around this way. No, through.
Oh, yeah.
There's a grid, sort of a grid back. It's all like filled.
Yep.
But you might be able to go through and turn on the old rubbish dump road. I've done this for the best of my people because they know a lot more about the cattle than anything else. They know a lot of other business like grading and everything else and other labours. But some of the older people like me and the other older people than me, they've worked on cattle stations and they've done everything. I've got a dream that's coming for people's future is to go towards self-determination and try and get something for their future, because the government's not going to keep on funding the communities and homelands and also handing out money. So this is the only hope they got, to get up on their feet and start doing something so that young people can follow. My grandchildren are dreaming about bringing in a tourism so that they can let them ride their horses to muster proper, real on-job mustering and a quad bike and everything else. So we want to give them, young people, young school kids and that and teenagers, proper skills so that they could go back and get a job. Go out with my grandchildren, round them up, bring them in and yard them and see and draft them and brand them just for fun of it. I have been doing that just to keep the cattle quiet, and my cattle are drought masters and they're like a farm cattle, not a station cattle. They're quiet. You can just about go in and walk around among them, and that's what the young people, young tourists or school children should come out and learn about the environment, look at the way we live, camp out with us, but also do inma, everything, cultural inma, dances, join in, and also join in the next morning, like mustering cattle and droving cattle. Keep reaching for you. My eyes keep searching for you. My lips keep calling for you. And my shoes